Okay. Hello, everyone. It's time to start our class. Thank you for coming. Well, thank you for watching this video because nobody is here in the class. But I'm really happy to share with you this topic. And this support, well, remember that yesterday we had a short review of, or a short class about the simple past and past continuous. Today we have to continue with our review of this topic. So I hope everybody, all of you are ready for today's class. And of course that we can, or you can watch this video on time to check and complete the activities on the platform. Just give me a second. Okay, well, as I told you, today's class, it's about simple past and past continuous. To make a review of this topic, let's remember some of the uses and some of the uses of simple past and past continuous and how to identify both of them, okay? First of all, remember that in a sentence, for example, we have, she was making dinner when he got home. She was making dinner when he got home. As you can see in that sentence, we can identify which sentence is simple past and which one is past continuous. As you see, we have both tenses in this class, okay, in this sentence. But pay attention to it. The first information we know about both past tenses is that simple past actions are always shorter than past continuous actions. Taking into account this short comment about the simple past and past continuous, you can identify which sentence goes in that tense. Of course, right now we have the complete sentence, but in case you want to share an example, you can tell me about two sentences in past, one in past continuous and the other one in simple past. After that, we have the following information. Simple past actions interrupt the past continuous actions. The first action, the past continuous action, was in progress in the past when the other action came and interrupted. So that's the information we already know about these tenses. After that, we have a simple past and past continuous sentences use adverbs of time. The common adverbs of time we use to link both part of the sentence, simple past and past continuous, are when and while. It is common that when we use simple past and past continuous, we use when, but it is also possible to use while for both tenses. She was making dinner when he got home. Another option could be she was making dinner while he got home. In that context, we know that the first action, the past continuous action, started before the simple past sentence, and after that, the sentence, or sorry, the next action started in the middle of the past continuous sentence. Well, we have a classmate that is joining right now, so Alexander is coming. Hello, Alexander.
Hello, teacher. How
Hi,
are
how
you?
are you today?
Very well, and you?
I'm doing great, thank you for asking. Well, let me
Okay.
tell you that I already started with the class. Actually, I was recording the class,
Okay, that's fine.
but well, now that you came, so we can continue and have a review of what we learned yesterday. Remember that yesterday we talked about a simple past and past continuous. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, so give me a second. So in this moment, we will continue and I will show you. Can you see my screen or not?
Yep. Yeah, I can.
Okay, very good. So these are uh, some of the points we mentioned yesterday. about the use of simple past and past continuous, right?
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. So this is something we already know and something that we can check on the video. Okay, now I would like to continue with something else about the use of both tenses. Before we start, let me ask you, okay, Alexander, what's the difference between these sentences? The first sentence, when the guests arrived, Jane was cooking dinner. Next sentence, when the guests arrive, Jane cooked dinner. What's the difference between these two sentences?
In the first, uh, Jane continue cooking. Maybe when the guests arrive, she continue cooking dinner, and maybe um let me see. Um let me think better my answer.
Okay, okay,
Uh
so take your time.
may
We wait.
yeah, maybe in the first sentences, Jane was cooking, making that action, and she was interrupted by the guests. That is the first action. And in the second, um, when the guests arrive, uh, Jane finished the dinner. Maybe the difference is that the first action, Jane was interrupted, and in the second, she wasn't interrupted. She just finished doing something.
Okay, that's a great explanation of this, Alex. Well, in the first sentence, as you can see, we have both past tenses, right? We have past continuous and also we have a simple past. Then in the second sentence, we just have the simple past in both part of the sentence. Right now, I would like to show you what's the difference between these sentences. So
Okay.
as you can see, in the first one, Jane started cooking dinner before the guests arrived. Okay, so you were very well in the explanation of the first sentence because you said that, well, she started cooking first and then she was interrupted by the guest, or the guest got her house or her home in the middle of the action. While she was cooking, then they got her house. Okay, Alexander?
Okay.
Very good. Then we have, we know that because it uses the past continuous. So past continuous help us to identify that one action was in progress and then the other interrupted, okay, or the other interrupts. Also, we know that the past continuous sentence was in progress and the other sentence came in the middle, or the other action came in the middle of the action in progress, of course in past. Remember that these tenses are talking about the past. Then in the second sentence, the guests arrived first and then Jane started cooking. Do you remember yesterday's story about Katie and Raymond? Yes, Alexander?
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who was wearing a black suit and he was holding a red rose. So as you remember, yesterday we practiced a short story using both tenses, simple past and past continuous. In some sentences, we needed to use a simple past. In some other sentences, past continuous. In some examples, we needed to use one part of the sentence in one tense and the other part of the sentence in a different tense. And in some other parts of the story, we had to use only one tense. For example, there were some sentences in which we only used simple past. For example, he ran and kissed me, okay? He ran and kissed me. So we use in both part of the sentence, in both sentences, I'm sorry, we use simple past. Then, the same example I gave you before, he was wearing a black suit and he was holding. Again, we have two sentences, but those two sentences are using the past continuous. Now, as you can see, this is a sequence, okay? This is a sequence of events. First, the guest arrived in the second sentence. First, the guest arrived. Next step or next thing that happened, Jane started cooking. So as you see, in the first sentence, as you mentioned, the action was in progress and the other one came in the middle of the action in progress, or the other one came and interrupted, okay? And after that, in the second example, is a sequence of events. That's why in this opportunity, we have to use past continuous, sorry, simple past in both part of the sentence. Is that okay, Alexander? Is that clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Well done. Okay, that's really nice. So I would like to continue with some other information about the past simple and past continuous. So right now, let me show you this. Okay, can you read the information on this slide, please?
Okay, simple past and past continuous. When one event is more important than the other in the past, we can use the past simple to emphasize the main event. We can use the past continuous for the background event, the less important one.
Very good. As you can see, we divide this sentence in two parts. In grammar tenses, we have two tenses, simple past and past continuous, but also we can divide the sentence into parts. First one, the main event. And the second one, the background event, or as it says, the less important one. Okay, right now, let's read the example. I broke my leg when I was skiing. I broke my leg when I was skiing.
I broke my
Alex,
leg when I was skiing.
nice. Okay, Alex, I have a question. In your opinion, which event is more important? I was skiing.
The most important is I broke my leg.
Okay, that's pretty nice. I broke my leg is the most important event in the sentence. Then what is the less important event?
I was skiing.
I was skiing. Very good. As it says, when one event is more important than the other, we need to use the simple past for the most important event. And then for the less important, we need to use a past continuous, okay? It's the same in the with the other examples we have. So that is another way to identify. For example, in a story, we need to use these differences, right? For example, let's check again the first sentence we had. Let me see. Okay, she was making dinner when he got home. Which, in your opinion, which of these events is more important? Making dinner or he got home?
He got home.
Okay, he got home. Okay, maybe in this case, it's also both actions are important, but the most important thing is he got home because, of course, they are going to eat together, or they were going to eat together because it's a past tenses. Okay, that's why in this opportunity we also can identify which is the correct or which is the most important part of the sentence, right? By following this rule. There are different, as you see, there are different hints we can use to identify when to use simple past and when to use past continuous, okay? Do you remember, for example, okay, do you remember one example using both parts, both tenses, simple past and past continuous? Can you tell me an example?
Yeah. You were recording the English class when I came to the class.
Oh, can you repeat it? Can you repeat it again?
Yep. You were recording the English class when I came in to the class.
Okay, that's a great example, okay? As you can see, in this sentence, we can identify if it was pretty important you came to the class, even though I was recording. Also, another hint we can use is my action in progress was recording the class. So that action was in progress. Then I will say it in this way. It's not something bad, but I will say that you interrupted my action. I was recording, you came. But as I mentioned, the main activity or the most important action in this sentence or in your example is that you came to the class, okay? That's a way to identify which part of the sentence is, in this case, more important than the other. Okay, thank you for your examples. That was a nice practice. Now, let me ask you, Alexander, when do we use these past tenses? Okay, when do we use simple past and past continuous?
Let me see. When we want to express some action that were in progress in a short time in the past.
Okay, yes, that's a good point. Now, let me see, do you remember one activity we did? I don't remember when it was. I think it was on Monday. So we were talking about a story. Do you remember which story we talked about?
No, I couldn't attend the class the
Oh
last
yes,
Monday. Yeah.
I'm really sorry. Yes, I remember
No
there
problem.
was another person, I guess. Um, but we were talking about the story of the Little Red Riding Hood. Have you ever heard about that
Y-
fairy tale?
Yes, but I guess that was the last week because we make the order of the action.
Oh yes, you're right. It was last week. I'm sorry. I had some problems to
No
remember
problem.
those kind of things, the specific class. But well, as you remember, we talk about the story of the Little Red Riding Hood. In that context, well, we use past tenses. Okay, if you want to speak about a fairy tale, it is important to use the past tenses, or not only fairy tales, any kind of story we want to describe or we want to tell someone else, we commonly use past tenses like simple past and past continuous. Okay, then to talk about movies. Okay, do you like movies, Alexander?
Yes, I like a
What's
lot
your favorite
most
movie?
action movies.
Action
I
movies, really?
yeah.
Okay, that's something nice. Well, as
Mm.
you can see over here, anytime we are talking about stories and movies, we have to use the past tenses, like, again, simple past and past continuous. Okay. In this context, maybe we can remember, or you can remember any movie, or you can describe a movie by using these tenses. Remember, the focus of this tense is to make the difference between first, the first action, and then the action that interrupts, or the action that is more important, and the second that is the less important action. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, well done. So in this opportunity, well, we will continue practicing the use of, give me a second. Okay, we will continue using a, oh, sorry, we will continue practicing the use of both tenses, the simple past and also past continuous. In this moment, we will do it by using or by completing a paragraph. Okay, so we have one paragraph over here. Let me show it. Let me show you the paragraph, but I'm having some troubles. Give me a second. Okay. Tell me if you can see my screen. Can you see the paragraph we have to complete?
Yes, I can.
Nice. Okay, so as you can see over here, we have to use the words in the parentheses to complete the text below with the appropriate tense. Then click the check button to check your answers. In this case, well, we are going to complete this paragraph with the verbs in the correct form. Remember, right now we are going to practice simple past and past continuous. After that, we are going to check if they are correct or if we have to correct something. Okay? Do you need time to check or to identify which is the correct tense, or can we start now?
We can start.
Okay, very good. We're going to start. Last night, while I was doing my homework, what happened? Can you tell me what is the correct verb?
Um, Simple past, called.
Nice. Okay. Okay. Angela called. Can you continue with the paragraph? The next sentence?
Yep. She said she called me.
Okay. She called me on her cell phone from her biology classroom at UCLA. I asked her if she
I asked her if she was waiting for the class.
was waiting. But she said that the professor was at the front of the hall lecturing while she
Mm, She was talking to me.
okay, while she was talking to me. That sounds good. Okay, let me just write it. She was talking to me. Okay, continue with the next sentence, please.
I couldn't believe she made a phone call during the lecture. Uh, but
Okay, I'm
if
sorry.
we use
My microphone was off. So she made a phone call during the lecture. I asked what was going on. She said her biology professor was so boring that several of the students
were sleeping in class,
were
actually.
were sleeping in class. Well, as you can see, we have the adverb actually. So were sleeping in
Actually,
class. Okay. Now, in what part of that sentence do you think it's the is the adverb actually? Okay.
at
So
the end,
after the verb or after the sorry, after the verb to be or after the verb in ing.
um, mm,
So let's try to read the sentences in the two forms. Several of the students were actually sleeping. Several of the students were sleeping actually. Several of the
Um,
students actually were sleeping. What do you think is the best way?
um, students were sleeping actually
Okay, students were sleeping actually in class.
in class.
Some of the students,
Some of the students were talking about their plans for the weekend.
okay, were talking about their plans for the weekend, and the student near to her
Um, was drawing a picture of a horse.
was drawing a picture of a horse. Okay, that's good. We can continue the next part. Then, sorry, when Angela
Uh, told me she was not
told me
satisfied with the class.
she was not satisfied with the class, I
I mentioned
mentioned that my biology professor was quite good and
suggest that she would switch to my class.
suggested that she switched to my class. Sorry, that's kind of confusing, but it's good, okay? While we were talking, I
Heard her professor yell,
okay, nice. I heard her professor yell, Miss, are you making a phone call? Suddenly, the line went dead. I,
um, the simple path of hang. I don't remember what is hang.
okay, it's kind of difficult. Well, not difficult, but it's not very common, right?
Yeah.
5, 4, 3. Do you have the verb, the past form of hang?
Is hung.
Is hung. Okay, very good. Hung. Hung up the phone and went to the kitchen to make dinner. As I,
Um, are you writing?
oh, no, let me see. Oh, it was frozen, sorry. Okay, so hung up the phone and went to the kitchen to make dinner. As I, next part. Hello,
As I
Alexander.
was cutting
Okay, as I was
vegetables for
cutting vegetables for salad, the phone rang once again. It
it was Angela.
it was Angela, but this time she wasn't sitting in class. Okay, we finished with this paragraph. Let me read it for you, and then you will do it. Okay, last night, last night while I was doing my homework, Angela called. She said she called me on her cell phone from her biology classroom at UCLA. I asked her if she was waiting for class, but she said that the professor was at the front of the hall lecturing while she was talking to me. I couldn't believe she made a phone call during the lecture. I asked what was going on. She said her biology professor was so boring that several of the students were sleeping actually in class. Some of the students were talking about their plans for the weekend, and the student next to her was drawing a picture of a horse. When Angela told me she was not satisfied with the class, I mentioned that my biology professor was quite good and suggested that she switch to my class. While we were talking, I heard her professor yell, Miss, are you making a phone call? Suddenly, the line went dead. I hung up the phone and went to the kitchen to make dinner. As I was cutting vegetables for a salad, the phone rang once again. It was Angela, but this time she wasn't sitting in class. Okay, in this opportunity, Alexander, you will have 2 minutes to check the paragraph, practice pronunciation, and check if all the answers are correct. Remember, these are your answers, okay? Because you are the only one participating in today's class. So if you want to change any form from simple past to past continuous or from past continuous to simple past, you can do it. You will have 2 minutes to practice pronunciation and check if they are correct. Okay?
Okay.
Very good. So 2 minutes starts now. Go ahead.
Um, Last night while I
Oh, if you
was
want,
doing
right now, sorry. Right now, let's do it on your own, okay? Right now, not on
uh,
out loud.
okay,
Right now, do it by yourself. Then after the 2 minutes, you do it out loud, okay?
okay, thanks.
Great. Okay, Alexander, did you check the sentences?
Yes, I have doubt with the second line. I couldn't believe she was making a phone call during the lecture because we are using during, and I guess we need to use
Okay, we will change it.
past continuous.
She was, oops, sorry. She was making, I couldn't believe she
A
was
phone
making a
call
phone call during the lecture.
during the
Uh-huh.
lecture. That's only change that I could identify.
Okay, very good. So right now, if you want, you can start reading the paragraph. I want to hear your pronunciation and also your fluency. So you can go.
Okay. Last night while I was doing my homework, Angela called. Angela called. She said she called me on her cell phone from her biology classroom at UCLA. I asked her if she was waiting for the class, but she said that the professor was at the front of the hall lecturing. while she was talking to me. I couldn't believe she was making a phone call during the lecture. I asked what's going on. She said her biology professor was so boring that several of the students were sleeping actually in class. Some of the students were talking about their plans for the weekend, and the student next to her was drawing a picture of a horse. When Angela told me she was not satisfied with the class, I mentioned that my biology professor was quite good and suggest that she switch to my class. While we were talking, I heard her professor yell, "Miss, are you making a phone call?" Suddenly, the line went dead. I hung up the phone and went went to the kitchen to make dinner. As I was cutting vegetable for a salad, the phone call rang once again. It was Angela, but this time she wasn't sitting in the class.
Okay, thank you for reading. It was nice practice. Now, let me ask you, are you ready to check if all the answers are correct?
Yes.
Yes, very good. Okay, let's check together if the paragraph or all the parts of the paragraph are correct. By the way, that was a good pronunciation. So thank you for practicing the verbs in past. That's the main thing that I think it's the most difficult, at least in this activity, the verbs in past. So now, okay, your score is 86. Now, let's see. Incorrect answers had been left in place for you to change. There are only two parts that are incorrect. Okay, this is kind of uh, unexpected because you never told me about this part, that we have to change this part. But what do you think is the correct form?
Yeah, I guess it's the either way though. Um,
So,
she said that she was calling me on her cell phone from her biology classroom.
okay, she was calling me. And what about the next part? Let me tell
Uh,
you that that part is correct. I mean, is correct talking about the grammar tense. The correct is past continuous. But the order of that sentence is not correct, okay? So what is the correct order? What do you think?
we're actually sleeping.
Okay, we're actually sleeping. Let me erase the next part. Okay, like this. That's the correct structure. Okay, let's check right now if this is correct or not. Okay, correct. Well done. Your score is 1999. Sorry, 99. Sorry, 999. Sorry, 99. That's the correct one. Sorry. Okay, that was good. As you can see, this is the correct order. We're actually sleeping. So the adverb is in the middle of the verb to be in the verb in ing. That was a nice practice, Alexander. So thank you for joining this time and for completing the activity that we had in this opportunity. As you remember, or as you could see, this is a story, okay? Remember that when we use the simple past or the past tenses in this case, we need to use the the past. Okay, sorry. When we are talking about stories, we need to use the past tenses. That's why in this exercise, as you could see, we use a simple past and past continuous. The same with the story about with the story about Katie and Raymond. You remember we completed the paragraph using simple past and past continuous. That's why I show you these uses of the past tenses. Because when we talk about memories, simple past. Then when we are telling a story, it is important to use different past tenses, like past simple and past continuous, the same way we did it today. Okay, Alexander, before we
Okay.
go, before we leave, let me ask you, how are you doing with activities on the platform?
I am in a good way because I finished the unit 4 and then it's missing to me the unit 5.
Oh, did you already finish with unit 4?
Yeah, I took the exam and I finished it. I have 80% of the progress.
Okay, okay, that's amazing. Well, Alexander, I just want to tell you that, well, I'm really happy that you already finished with Unit 4. Um, by this unit, we will go little by little, okay? So if you want by now, you can relax. You can continue working on the platform, but you can relax a little bit more because these 2 units are going to be a little bit longer, okay? So we will
Okay.
be in Unit 4 during 2 weeks and then well, this week and the next one, and then we will continue with unit 5 again during 2 weeks, okay? One the first week and the next one, okay? So tomorrow I would like to invite you to come because we are going to continue practicing the use of simple past and past continuous. Okay,
Okay.
Alexander?
Yep. How many times is uh the time for the course? 4 week or more?
Uh, as I have as I know, according to the information I received, this level is going to be long. These levels are going to be longer. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they won't be 4 weeks as they were supposed to be. They are going to be, let me see. We already finished with 3 weeks, I guess. 3 weeks
Mhm.
or 2 weeks?
Yeah, I guess we have 3 weeks finished, and then this is or 4 week.
Oh, 2 weeks actually. They were 2 weeks. So this level, at least by this time, this level is going to be 6 weeks, as
Okay.
if I am not mistaken. So yes, it is going to be a 6 week level.
And how
And
many levels, sorry, we have for the intermediate?
oh, in intermediate we have 3 levels: intermediate
Okay.
1, 2, and
Mm-hmm.
3. So the
Mm-hmm.
next levels are going to be 10 weeks, if I am not mistaken. Okay.
Uh-huh. Okay, it's around 3 or 4 months to complete the intermediate.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's right. Okay.
Okay. Mm.
So thank you for joining, Alexander. It was a pleasure to have you in our class. I hope we can continue tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Thanks a lot.
Very good.
Bye-bye.
See you. Bye bye.